6:05 with another Lunchbox podcast.
Your break time entertainment.
There you go.
We'll eventually record that. We keep saying that, but obviously
It's spot on every time.
Love it. Yeah.
There's four. We got four windows this time. The Brady Bunch, Marsha, and then we got that guy right there. He's all dressed up.
Who's that guy?
His name's CHRIS Livingston, and we'll let you just kind of do your little plug. Tell us who you are, what you do, what you're about.
I'm CHRIS Livingston. So I am a realtor in the Sioux Falls and surrounding areas, employed with Keller Williams. I do have a small team at the office. Been doing real estate for a couple years now, and I've had some success with it. Kind of fun. So yeah, here to talk about it.
I think there's a dog
Amber's
that's not
dog.
too happy about this.
Amber, settle down.
Demons. No, that's cool, man. I mean, it's one of those things, obviously, all of us, some people that know all of us, we all used to work together in a previous life. But it's one of those things, obviously, seeing you do that is super cool. I am a victim of the CHRIS Livingston experience.
The victim.
And,
Jesus, yeah, good words. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. This is going to be a good show.
Well, don't
Let
worry.
me
The
tell you
other
where you
two
fucked up.
The other two will be victims at some point.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll
I
get
got-
there.
I
Yeah,
got
the
a-
dog.
I got
Hopefully sooner than later.
Amen.
Hey,
no, it's super cool. I mean, that's one thing when we look at the world, right, and the market, and I've seen your posts. You know, if you guys get a chance, there's obviously you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, you're on all these platforms, and I think that's one of those things is you're very good at being informative of what's going on and what like the real questions are. So, I guess in a nutshell, what do you think the number one thing is that you get asked about the market today?
Today, probably more of just what does it look like, right? Like obviously with the economy and what's happening there, and the jump in interest rates, the jump in house prices, it's just like, where's it going? What's the future? What does 6 months look like? What does a year look like? Because everybody seems to think that it's going to come back down, right? That's the number one. I'm going to wait for the crash. I'm going to wait for the crash to buy. And in the Midwest, we're pretty sheltered from a lot of that stuff. Not saying that doesn't happen in other places, but we really haven't seen a lot of the price decreases, even with the interest rates over doubling in the last 12 months.
Crazy.
I just made a video, a TikTok actually about it, and it's supply and demand, right? Like it comes down to the most basic things in life, with any businesses, right? If you have a lot of supply, you're going to have a different sort of market. If you have a lot of demand and no supply, you're going to have a different type of market. And right now we're seeing not as much demand as we would like, but we have not nearly enough supply, which is why we've kept on the trend we're at.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things you look at the world. I mean, Amber, you've lived in your house since you moved to Sioux Falls, haven't you? Or Brandon, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there for quite a while, so you haven't had to really see. I mean, there's been for sale signs going up around you, I'm sure, and everybody else is doing it. I mean, it's one thing that people are flocking to Sioux Falls. Do you see, I mean, Chris, like really is, like, I don't know if you know where Amber lives, not to be creepy.
Yes, generally speaking, yeah.
Heavy breathing.
But I mean, like in those markets though, when you get outside of Sioux Falls, like the Brandons, the T's, the stuff
Lakefield,
like
Minnesota.
that. What was that?
Yeah.
Minnesota, no.
Right.
What I missed it. What'd you say?
That was my parents' house.
Oh,
We talked about it.
yeah. But
They're
anyways,
dead now.
didn't know.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Newsflash.
more you know.
But I mean, those outside markets, are they getting to the point where it's like Sioux Falls level, like out by where she's at? Like, people always like, oh, I'm gonna get farther out and I'm gonna save money. Which, granted, gas, you're not really saving probably a whole lot. You know what that's like,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, do you see that leveling where it's like Brandon is T and
Yeah.
Sioux Falls all in the same area?
Yep. So when I talk to my clients, if I say Sioux Falls, I'll catch myself meaning Sioux Falls, Brandon, T, Harrisburg, but not saying it just because it's basically like you're not going to
Same.
get any difference of a market between any of those cities or towns, whatever. And if anything, some of them might be a little bit more expensive in some cases than Sioux Falls. Like the Harrisburg, you might see some houses that actually could be worth a little bit more in Harrisburg rather than in Sioux Falls, just because of the school district and stuff like that. But you get outside of kind of the TU Sioux Falls, Harrisburg, Brandon, and you start to see a small decrease in value just because it's smaller towns. But when I first started in real estate and everything boomed because of the interest rates, you saw houses that were 20, 30 miles out selling very, very comparable to Sioux Falls houses. And it's probably not kept the same trajectory when everything kind of slowed down, but they haven't gone back down in value, right? So if it's a $220,000 house and it was 3 years ago, $150,000 house, it's still worth that 220, but it's not maybe following the values of Sioux Falls anymore because there's not quite as much demand.
Yeah. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to chime in. I don't have to drive the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to him for an hour.
Yeah.
However
I mean,
long.
we talk
sorry.
enough. I call you from time to time, but
Interest rates, where are they going?
Yep. So they have taken a trend. If you don't closely follow them, they were low threes, high twos. It would have been probably over 12 months ago now. And we saw a flow and then a quick increase, right? It kind of gradually crept up, and then they actually peaked November of this last year at just a little over 7. Since then, they've come down and they're floating mid sixes. They'll be 6.3 to 6.6 over the last, I would say, couple months, or month for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody is still predicting 5s this year. I mean, you can't predict tomorrow with the economy and what's going on, so it's really hard to know for sure. But I think that they're not gonna go up anymore, like drastically, right? They might fluctuate a little bit, but I don't see them going up. I think they're gonna trend down.
yeah. Well, you've got a crystal ball. You should be able to tell us all that stuff. I mean,
if I did, we'd all be millionaires. I promise you that.
So I mean, this is probably one of the biggest things, and I know you and I have talked about it, but just for the general public, our however many viewers we have live, and actually we've gotten more with Apple. But either way, there's the thing that when we're in cars, right? We all know a car salesman, right? You know one, you live with one. There's Ryan. There's so many of them, right? And it's like, why that person? This is your one shot. Tell me. I used you. I should say I used. That sounds really bad. I had you. I had you as a person that helped me. Anyways, what is it that you think that really like stands out, that like makes you that much more unique than other people? Not I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there, right? And there's also, like everything, there's some that ruin it, right? Not all car salesmen are like Ryan McConnell, where they give you a full tank of gas for 3 months and
stop it.
I heard free car washes, and all those perks. But I think that's one thing that why is it that you are doing as good as you are and the success that you're having?
Yeah, so the three of you can hopefully attest for this on a personal level, but if you don't know me, right, it's like trying to sell you something. I'm trying to sell myself to you is really hard. Once you get to know me, I'm very driven. I'm very success-minded, and not success in the I want to be rich, right? The success is sometimes a fault, right? You want to be so good at something or do the right thing so much. And I think that's probably one of the things that I see that from the inside looking out in real estate is there's so many agents that just don't have that. They don't have drive. They see more of the paycheck at the end of it
I'll
versus
get it when I get it.
The process of doing it and being there when you call after the fact and something needs to be taken care of. And it's like, Mike, hey, how's it going? Can't really talk now. See you later. God, I hope he doesn't ever call me back. Right? Like, just gonna be there for somebody, beginning of the process, middle of the process, end of the process. I have a ton of clients I work with that can't get pre-approved right away, right? And so that's naturally, you want to think, throw them to the back of the line. I can't make money on them, right? No, it's walk them through the process and get them to where they need to be because it's the right thing to do for them. Not, am I going to make a paycheck on Amber selling her house someday? Let me blast her once a week to see if she's ready to sell, or try and pressure her into something. Or Mike Miller is going to buy a house someday. Let me keep up with him every month or every week. It's what do you want? What do you need? Let's figure that out, right?
Yeah.
Rental property.
I
Bam.
don't even know if I answered the question, but
You did.
I feel like there's just a different level of thought process going into why I do things versus seeing the other side of it, like how much money can I make?
The stuff that I've seen is like you helping people move, you know, like just the stuff that you wouldn't even expect.
Don't say that while Mike's on here. I didn't help him move. I had to go
Yeah.
clean his house a little bit, but other than that,
Clean his
Hey, you
house.
said you weren't going to talk about your clients.
Yeah.
it wasn't Mike. Sorry, it was a client.
It happened to be my house, but
Yeah.
no, that's cool. I mean, do you think though, we do have a female, possibly two. Don't know what Ryan identifies today with his long curly hair today. Flappy hands and arms. But you think that when you see, people sometimes, in Amber's experience it, right? When somebody buys a car, right? And they say, I only want to deal with a female. She's female. Do you ever get somebody that's just like, they get into it and then all of a sudden they don't like you, or maybe do they have like weird requests? Because like I feel like Amber's just like, she's the only girl there. She has no choice. Like she's stuck working with, the female that wants to only work with female. But do you have those like unique encounters
And
where
they're
it's like,
so
yep,
fun.
So I've never had, at least not to my knowledge, right? I've never had or got the vibe or somebody outright told me that they didn't or they wanted to work with a female or a certain type of person, I guess, for lack of better terms. To answer your question, I haven't seen that from the aspect of maybe getting business via social media, advertising, video, stuff like that. I feel like there's a much more significant chance of them getting a client being a female, just because they're a little bit, I would say they're probably a little bit more easy. There's no intimidation, I guess. There's way less intimidating for a female doing something versus a guy doing something, right? Doing the exact same thing just because that's the way nature is. I feel like there's a lot more success to be had in getting clients because they may not they see some big bulky dude, or like the typical stereotypes of like,
that'd be different if you rolled up to the showing like you did tonight in that 2023 Corvette. Kind of makes you think business is good then when you I'm just kidding. He doesn't roll up in a Corvette, guys.
I have a Subaru. Weird today currently.
Shocker.
Because my truck's getting worked on still.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Womp 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 wow.
Exactly.
Oh man. What day is it? It's May
Wednesday.
May 17th.
All day.
Crazy.
Okay, Chris. So is there anything in your career so far that stands out as a story you could tell us, as something very weird or bizarre that you've had happen? Or that you've seen or something,
I mean, there's always weird things you see showing houses, like in people's houses, because everybody has their life inside of a house, right?
Dungeon. Sex dungeon.
I mean,
get
maybe
it.
not quite that far, because I'd about that house maybe, but lots of quirky things inside of houses that you're like, you leave that out for a showing? That's kind of weird. Like, wouldn't you put nothing that sticks out in my mind that's like, holy crap, check this out. I would say I've had some clients that you've had off moments with, or like came from kind of out of nowhere, experiences or just scenarios. Can't say a lot about specifics, but I've fired clients before.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
experiences where just that they just don't mesh with your type of personality, and just have to find somebody else that can help them the way they need help.
What do you think oh, go ahead, Amber.
I was gonna say, okay, I have another question. So when you stage a house for photos, why? Like, is it the realtor or is it the homeowners? Why do some people just leave their house? Like, you look at some pictures and you're like,
Shambles.
why do you have that mess in this room?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, ultimately, I'm a consultant, right? Like, you don't have to do what I say. You don't have to use me for services. So by no means am I like God in this relationship of the transaction. But when we walk through the house, if I came over to your house, hypothetically speaking, in the next month or so, and wanted to, you asked me that same question, like, hey, what should my house look like, or things should I do? I'm gonna tell you things like that. Yeah, like we want it to look staged. We don't want over clutter. We don't want the boxes like I have to my right stacked up. Um, literally, you don't want to have that stuff. You want the rooms to look open, big, take down personal items.
Yeah.
If you have any like firearms, any that kinds of stuff, typically get rid of them, hide them, put them away, pack them away, do whatever, and just make the house look presentable. That being said, I've also gone to listing photos just before going live and spent an hour and a half at listing photos when it should take 10 minutes, putting things away, moving things out of pictures, and having to deal with it. And then it's
Nice.
just that call to the client of like, hey, we want to sell your house. Like we have the same goal in mind. These things are things that I think would help sell it, right? But maybe it's the agent not informing the client, or maybe it's the client having a certain type of lifestyle at home where they just don't. I guess I couldn't answer that for sure,
Because
but
I've seen some like people's houses, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing with this room? Or like they take pictures of their, like even just in their closet, and I'm just like, gosh,
yeah.
no.
If you see photos online of a house for sale and it's in the photos, 100% the agent's fault. 100%. Because there should have never been photos taken of that. There should have never been photos
Yeah.
edited, sent to the agent, and then the agent shouldn't have posted them, right? Like that 100% on the agent. Now, obviously, it's the agent's not going to go in there and take the stuff down, but I would have that talk with the client of like, hey, we can't have this like this. Like this is going to look very unprofessional, and or it's going to draw the attention away from the house to your personal items, and thus
Yeah.
taking away the whole point of why we're trying to sell the house, right?
Mhm. All right.
We had Amy ask. That's Chris's wife, for those who don't know.
She's right there in the background.
Yep, you see her waving at her. Nice.
about to-
She said,
You're about
and
to
I
flip her
quote,
off, but yeah, okay.
for someone looking to list their home for sale in the near future, what are some good ways to freshen up your home and or small fixes to do to prep before listing?
Yes. So
That was good.
think of your current house, right? Think of all the projects that you've started and or found that are on that list to finish, and then finish those, right?
Yeah, nice.
Inevitably, it's always like
Sometimes.
we just bought a house, and I know that the deck needs to be stained, and I know there's some paint work that needs to be done, and some nail holes that need to be filled, and some trim that needs to, like all that stuff that you see every day, and you're like, gosh, I really want to get that taken care of someday, and then you don't do it for the 10 years you live in the house. You probably should get it done before listing, because the next people see that, right?
Do you do it
But-
yourself or do you hire out?
That would be totally up to you. I would tell you that if you can't do it semi-professionally, I would hire it out, right? Like I'm dangerous enough to do some of that stuff myself at my house,
Good way to put it.
but it's literally, I know just enough to mess it up and kind of make it look okay. So if you're my kind of person, like I know, hey, I can't do that. It's not going to look good, and it's going to catch the eye of a potential buyer. Hire that out. Hey, it's some touch-up paint, and I have the paint in the basement. Stop being lazy. Get off the couch. Go do the touch-up paint, right? Like, so there's a fine line of don't just do it to do it, because it's may end up hurting how much you get for your house down the road. Maybe hire it out or find somebody else that knows a little bit more. That might be a friend that's willing to come over and help you.
Nice. That was good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing she's listening and watching.
Yeah.
No.
She's making sure he doesn't say anything stupid.
No.
Right.
I'm gonna say a name. You tell me what you. No, I'm just kidding. No. It's one thing that you look at, like you said, you're a consultant with it. I think that's a good way to put it, because I think some people do get intimidated because they either A, have never been through the process, B, obviously, like you say, put them at ease with it, and like you said, just going through it. What are some things that you're seeing right now in Sioux Falls? Like how long are like houses typically on the market? How long are you seeing? I know everybody's getting fancy with their words. They call them price improvements.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know. I think you did
Yeah.
too, and everybody's starting to do it. I think is it's 5, 10, whatever many thousand that it is. And, I don't
Yep.
know. What do you see as far as something? Because usually you're trying to prep it up as much as possible. So it's just capitalizing. Don't mind my dog. He's coughing up a hairball. But you're you're prepping it as much to capitalize on that list price. But what are you seeing as far as like how long it's taking for a house
Once
to
it
sell
hits the
that?
market. So it's going to depend a lot on the price range. So currently today, what we're seeing is a lot of like 350 mid to high threes and under are selling for pretty much all of the money. And in some cases, if it's the right house in the right area, you might be getting multiple offers and over asking price, maybe no inspections or inspection addendums, things like that, where it can be pretty lucrative. I've had two listings in the past probably 30, 45 days, both in the high twos, and we took over asking price with multiple offers on both of those.
Nice.
And so the people that, like, again, it goes back to the people that are, you know what, this isn't going to hold, this isn't going to continue. Like, we're still getting, I had 7 offers on one house and took $27,000 over asking price on a 275 house. Like,
On
keep
the
telling
market
me
for
how
how
it's going
long?
to crash. Sorry. So
How
if
long
you
was that
get
on the market?
over, what was that?
How long was that on the market?
We accepted an offer about 10 hours after I listed it
Oh my god.
Wow.
with 7 offers in 10
That's
hours.
insane.
Now that's
And
not, again,
then
that's,
obviously without showings, right?
yeah, so it hit the market at, I don't know, 9-ish, 10-ish in the morning, and it was all gas from there. It was crazy nonstop showings, literally until about 9 o'clock that night. I was on the couch, still getting offers at that point. We had just finished the last showing, and so I was calling all of the last showings to make sure that they had a chance to make an offer, because when you get an offer, it expires, right? That's one of the things that you can do is, as a buyer's agent, is to put a deadline on there that might be fairly quick. That way there has to be a response time and it gives less people a chance. So we had 11 o'clock deadlines and it was 9 o'clock and I haven't even talked to all the agents that are showing the house yet. So it gets a little bit wild sometimes, keeps it fun. But back to the original question of, you get over 400, I would tell you that there's a little bit more of, I guess, reality, a balanced market, whatever you want to call it, of asking price. If it sits on the market for 2-3 weeks, you're going to see a price drop, price improvement, 10,000, 5,000, 15,000, whatever it is. And then you get into the upper end markets of 700-800 plus, and that's really going to just vary on where the house is, what it is, that kinds of stuff. But I mean, overall, it's healthy. It's a healthy, fairly balanced market overall, right? Like, there's price points that are a little bit crazy and there's price points that are a little bit slow, but this is normal. Like, for anybody who doesn't think it, I don't see this changing anytime soon. I think unless you find 400 houses a week, or maybe not a week, a month, that come up on the market for sale, like, this is normal, right? We're not going to see a huge influx one way or the other, until something major changes, either locally or economically in the country.
Presidentially
Right.
would be the comment.
Yes.
I think that's the word you're looking for.
Yes. Treading lightly for all of the others.
Yeah.
What t-shirt
The
you wearing
viewers.
underneath that? No,
Yeah.
just kidding. No, is that red? No, blue, red. I can't tell. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
it's a little blue on the outside.
I
I'm
was just
sorry.
kidding.
I'll come prepared next time.
No, you're fine. I guess one thing that's always pressing is, right, you've done this for a couple years now, right? And
Yep.
it's
Crazy.
I always ask people
No.
now. It's kind of like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna air your laundry. I remember you sitting there and you told me about what you were gonna do, and then this laptop thing. Remember that? Remember you're like, hey, do you know a guy that can get me a laptop? And we talked about that,
Yep.
Chris. And so
Yep.
it's one of those things that, seeing the journey that people take. I've been part of referral groups. I know I've talked to you about those too, but what's really
Fight.
what's really the next, what's the goal for 2023 for, Chris Livingston Homes, and what's the goal for, I would say, the Livingston household, but I know she's watching. I don't want to see any darts hit the back wall. But
Yeah.
we'll
No,
just
come
say,
on, let's do it.
no, what's
Fight.
the biggest thing? What do you really aspire to do this year? Is I mean, are you looking to donate $50,000 to Rogue Jeweler, one of our sponsors.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll think about it for sure.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
we'll put in the request.
Strong consideration. Strong consideration.
I heard he was going to be looking for investment property, so maybe we can work a deal.
Whoop, whoop.
20%. But anyways, no. What's the 2023 goal of Chris Livingston Homes and
Yep. So as the real estate company, the Chris Livingston Homes, it's pretty much going to be focus on my transaction goal, right? I don't set a financial goal for my business. I set a number of transactions goal. That way it keeps me focused on the right thing. And if you do a number of transactions, it's obviously going to lead to the outcome that you're hoping for.
Money.
So hoping to hit that, and that's a stout goal for me. And then kind of in the background, and I can't air too much, especially not names, but I do have an LLC, a business set up that is going to be a handyman / remodeling, construction, to be determined type business. I have that set up. I'm just looking to, I have a partner or partners that I'm working with, figuring some logistics out.
Yeah.
But I will be doing that here regardless in some fashion, either as a part-time myself and the other agent on my team offering it to my clients.
Yep.
And or having a partner that's going to be doing it with me full time.
Well, it's definitely about growth. I mean, that's one thing that, you look at, I don't want to say other agents, but you look at anybody that ventures off into the entrepreneur world that we see, things get stale. I mean, if you just did home transactions, I don't want to say you'd get bored, because I don't think you would, but right. For you to always be thinking about how do I do more? And I think that's great. That's one thing that is hard to find in people, but you got to build a team, and here you are.
Right. And this kind of to further kind of emphasize that, one of the very positive things I got from a previous employer that I was at is offering a full circle service, right? Like, you don't say no. You figure out how to make things happen no matter the circumstance. And so that kind of led me into, what do my clients need and want, right? Well, then that leads into, they need somebody there to help them throughout the homeownership process to, hey, I need this done and I don't know anybody. Hey, I need this done. Do you know somebody? I am somebody, right? Like, I am that guy. Call me. And if I physically can't do it, I'm going to have the person for you to do it, but I'm hoping to do it myself and or within my business structure. And so it kind of goes full circle, right?
Yeah, no subcontracting and getting into some of that stuff. Like you said, it's one of those things, just ultimately finding out the answer, right? And you got to be the resource. And I mean, it's too easy for people to use Google and
Google
chat GPT to
chapstick.
we ask
what is that?
We ask
Chat
AI
GTP.
what
G-
they I don't
what is
know.
it?
I still
Chat
did you
GPT.
seriously okay? Did you go up on the roof and clean those gutters?
I
I
did.
saw it. I saw
Me
it.
and Nathan. Nathan is the other agent on my team. For anybody in the outside looking in, I have one agent on my team, very young kid, very much so like me.
He's beyond his years,
And
though. He's not.
it was him and I. We went up there. We blasted out some gutter cleaning.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Blast. You didn't use your hands and just scoop it out? You just.
I did that. We had hands, we had hose, and we had the leaf blower.
I've got hose.
Yeah. Amy just literally said, "You got hose."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah. Anything? Did we miss anything? I feel like that was like the
It's a
market
short
update.
All of our topics, we could always venture more. You know
No,
what I mean?
know, but that was like the market update. A little bit of
Yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I don't know.
Okay,
to
leave
do.
it to me to ask this question, Chris. Do you have to tell somebody if someone died in the house?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Good question.
There's a question on the property disclosure that you have to fill out that, paraphrasing, but it's probably going to be very close. Has anybody died
Murder.
like via homicide or suicide on the property? Yes, that is a question. That would not be natural causes. be
Oh, yeah.
homicide or suicide, is I believe how it's worded on the property disclosure. So yes.
Is there a
So
nearby
if it's
pet
natural
cemetery?
causes, if it's natural causes, you don't have to tell.
So it's how it's worded. It would be homicide or suicide. So
Oh,
if it was natural
murder.
causes, according to the
Self-inflicted.
property disclosure, you would be.
Wow.
Do I need to ask why we're asking this question?
No,
or-
no, I'm just.
No, she does all of her murder
'cause I'm a
podcasts.
Yeah,
weirdo.
Yeah.
she's the demon. She,
Okay. I was thinking maybe are we trying to get rid of somebody in the house?
Yeah,
before-
no.
Oh God.
well, her.
Yeah,
if
I'm like,
you
will I be
remember,
able to sell it?
What if the
Yeah.
house is haunted?
Shoot.
if
Yeah.
the house is haunted, do you have to disclose that?
No.
Nice.
That's all.
No.
Besides, I
Pet
mean, ghosts are
cemetery.
real. Ghosts are
Yeah.
real. We've established that. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
anyways,
Fucking awesome.
yeah, no, it was good. Sorry,
job, Chris.
I didn't have the chat up because we have a fourth window. Mine's up here.
Yeah.
But
Mine's up here.
anyways, no, it's cool.
Mine's
This
right
is
here.
fun. I appreciate it, Chris. I mean, I
was
would say
good.
if there's a closing statement, but you really kind of did everything that I think that covers what you
Nailed
do.
Yeah, we nailed it. It was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah.
Quick and easy. Pop, pop. Like I said, we can always do a 2.0
Word.
for the next stuff.
Yep.
Kind of break down per category.
Well, I
rental
think
properties.
I think this is setting up though for Ty Backus. Ty Backus,
Yeah.
this is your call out.
If he's not watching.
If Chris Livingston can figure this out,
Yeah, he met us with
No
a
disrespect.
"Yeehaw!"
no disrespect. Chris cleaned up, presentable.
Chris is always clean. He's
This is
always
how I
clean,
looked for my showings.
Yeah.
Is that what you
I
look
went
like
to
when
the
you clean
gym.
gutters?
Went to the gym. Yes, it was yesterday, so it was a different shirt, but it was polo and some shorts that are decent. I went to the gym, got changed, so I've been sweaty and gross, but we still look good.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta
Get
do.
it? Fucking get it, dude.
But anyways, yeah, no, appreciate it, Chris. Be sure to check him out. He's on Facebook. Is it CL Homes or Chris Livingston Homes? Do your own
Yeah.
plug.
Chris Livingston Homes. You can just follow like me on my business page, Chris Livingston Homes, or just friend me on Facebook. My personal is Chris Livingston. I'm primarily on Facebook because I'm of that age generation. I do have Instagram and I do have TikTok.
baby.
Just not present as much on those.
Nice, solid.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Sure.
Well, anyways, another episode down. We don't have numbers. We just have dates, and sometimes we
Fucking
post
doing
it.
it slowly.
We'll just rock
You don't have
with it.
numbers?
No.
My friend
Nothing
Andy
transactional.
does it.
Not
He's
that
on
hard,
like
guys. You just gotta count.
he's on like episode 35, and he keeps track of it that way. But we have some that go to the archives, and we don't let them air because they talk about personal things that we don't want other people.
Yeah,
to
they'll
know.
be used as blooper reels later.
No.
Back in my day.
At the Christmas party.
You record some
Yeah.
that you don't post?
Yeah, we can save that. We're actually running out of time. We can talk about that a different time. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll.
I'm trying to air out some dirty laundry in the
Yeah, you
podcast.
don't.
can't
So
do it.
when we end this, you don't actually have to hit end call. We just stop recording. So don't. We should
Don't
totally.
hang
So
up
one
yet.
of them, when it comes out, it will be called Confessions of Mike Miller.
Yeah,
No,
the sins of
okay,
Mike
we gotta
Miller.
go. We're at
The
time,
sins of
guys. We're
Miller.
well over the 30-minute threshold. All right, take us out, Ryan Connell.
Oh man,
Ryan Connell, take us out.
I already did. Big dog, she gone.
Oh, you already.